Hello, my friends. I hope you are all doing well. Welcome back to my English comfort zone. Welcome back again to discuss a very important idea in English grammar with me, teacher Jalila Abdisalam. Thanks a lot for you in advance. And let's start our lesson for today. Of course, this is a broad idea. We will talk about the present perfect simple and the perfect continuous. This is a very broad, very big idea. So I'm going to divide the idea into some videos. Um, so this is a whole intensive and complete approach from third intermediate to the university level. Here we go and let's start. First, what do we mean by the present perfect tense? Present perfect tense. What do we mean? What is the meaning? In fact, this tense present perfect simple tense refers to an action that started and ended in the past. Both happened and ended as a whole in the past, yes, but it has an effect or some results or consequences in the present. This action the action in the present perfect simple may be continuous up to the present. So we can say like what? She has worked as a teacher since 2010 AD, or the children have played for 2 hours, or I have just eaten my lunch. Look at has worked, have played, have eaten. So this is the present perfect tense, have or has plus the past participle form of the verb. I have lived here for 2 years. Look at the timeline. Before we have the past, now we have the present, and after now, this is the future. Look at the verb span. The verb took place in the past and ended in the past, but it still has some consequences, some results on the present. This is the meaning of the present perfect simple tense. Let's complete the form. As I said before, a very short time, we can say that the form we have auxiliary verb or auxiliary verb that is verb to have. In the present simple, that is have or has, plus the past participle form. Past participle form of the verb or verb 3. So we have or has plus the past participle or PP or verb 3. Have or has plus the past participle. Have or has, this is verb to have in the present simple tense as an auxiliary or helping verb. Preceding what? Preceding the past participle. And remember this from now, always have and has as auxiliaries are followed by past participle forms. So what about have? We can use have with I and also they, again, we. Still, we have you. So I can say I have, they have, we have, you have. And then we have has. Has is used with guess, yes, excellent, with the third person, singular pronouns or nouns. Like what? Like he, or she, or it. Third person singular nouns or pronouns. So have goes with I, they, we, you. Has goes with he, she, or it. This is the form of the present perfect simple tense. Have or has as helping verbs, followed by the past participle form of the verb or verb 3. Okay, let's complete. Still, we are talking about the form of the present perfect. And here we can say that this tense is a combination a mix between the present tense and perfect aspect. present tense, and perfect aspect. And listen carefully here. To explain this sentence, I will say, I will explain it from two parts, on a meaning status and on a form status. On the form status, it's a mix between the present simple because have or has is in the present form, present simple form. This is verb to have in the present simple form. This is the present tense, and the perfect aspect because the past participle follows have or has. This is for the form. And for the meaning, it's also a present because it has the verb here or the action here has an effect on the present. It happened in the past, so it's perfect. Okay, but it still has some consequences or some results on the present. That's why it is present, so we can take the meaning and the form at the same time. Move to another idea. Verbs in English, verb forms in English are three. We have verb one, that is the present simple. Then verb two, that is the past simple. Then verb three, or the past participle form of the verb, or BB, if this is the perfect. This is the form of the verb used in all perfect tenses. Okay, so we need now to know, how do we form the third form of the verb? How do we get the past participle form of a verb? How? Let's move to the verbs in English here are of two types. We have regular verbs and irregular ones. Regular verbs and irregular ones. And hopefully, fortunately, the number of those of the irregular verbs is we can say is not very big in English. That's to say, there aren't too many verbs, irregular verbs in English, but the majority are regular. So what is the difference between regular and irregular verbs regarding the past participle? If we need to form the past participle, we have regular and irregular verbs. What about regular verbs? Most verbs in English are regular. That's to say, we have a rule to be applied. That's to say, again, if the verb, any regular verb in English can form or can have the past participle form by adding d or ed final to the verb. What about D and ED? If the verb ends in E, like move, just add D, becomes moved. And if the verb doesn't end in E, like watch, add ED. So it becomes watched. This is as a general rule. Final E add only D. No final E add ED. Most verbs like this. We have some spelling rules related to the regular verbs. That's to say, if the verb ends in Y, in the letter Y, in the consonant Y, and then this Y is preceded what is before? Preceded by a consonant. Change Y into I before adding ED. So if we have Y, like carry, the verb ends in Y, preceded by a consonant that is R. Change Y into I, okay? Then add ED. So it becomes carried, I-E-D, worry, worried. Suppose there is a vowel before Y, no change at all, and just add ed, like play becomes played. So which Y is to be changed? The Y preceded by a consonant. But the one preceded by a vowel does not change, and add ed, simply add ed. Another exception or another writing rule, if the base form of the verb ends in the pattern consonant, vowel, consonant, and I have told you before, C, V, C, consonant, vowel, consonant. C for a consonant and V for a vowel. If the verb as a whole is one syllable, and I said before also that the syllable means one vowel only, or one vowel with one consonant, or one vowel with more than one consonant. This is the form of a syllable. Suppose we have the verb only three letters. The three letters take the form of consonant, vowel, consonant. Directly double the last consonant before adding ed. Double the last consonant before adding ed, like hop, hopped. Sometimes the verb is one syllable and more than three letters, like stop. Also, add it is one syllable, also double the last consonant before adding ed. So stop becomes stopped. Okay? What about the irregular verbs? The second type of verbs in English. Here we can say that we have a specific rule to be applied. Rather, we memorize these verbs, but fortunately, as I said before, the number here is not very large. So I can't give you a specific idea to memorize them, but I will say sometimes these verbs do not change altogether in the three forms. So like cut, cut, cut. Sometimes they do not change in spelling, but change in the second or third form. Only in pronunciation, like we say read, the second read, the third read. And sometimes they change the second and the third form. So we have catch, caught, caught. Sometimes the first form matches the last one, and the in between the second one differs, like come, came, come. And sometimes all the three are different, like do, did, done. And to make it easy, some of these verbs also may be regular and irregular, like build, built, or builded, built or builded, spell, spelt or spelled, and so on. Okay, here, sometimes for the regular verbs again, sometimes I said if the verb is only one syllable, double the last consonant before adding ed. Sometimes the verb is more than one syllable. How can we determine? How can we add ed? Double the last consonant before adding ed, or just add ed, and we have the three final letters of the verb take the same pattern of consonant, vowel, consonant. If the three letters, the last three letters of the verb take the same pattern of consonant, vowel, consonant, remember the last syllable of the verb must be stressed. And I mean by stressed that we pronounce it strongly. We utter it strongly in a strong way with stress when we utter, when we produce the verb. If the last syllable of the verb is stressed, double the last consonant. If it is not, do not double the last consonant. Like prefer. This is fer. The last syllable is stressed, so double r before adding ed, preferred. And here I remind you with the vowels and the consonant. Vowels in English are a, e, I, o, u mainly. We have some exceptions, of course, and we have some combinations, a lot, of course. But as a main idea, this is accepted. A, E, I, O, U. Then we have all other letters are called consonant. Move to another idea. Here I get you all irregular verbs in English in one list to be memorized. Do not feel that it is difficult. It's not difficult at all, but continuous work makes it easy and easier to do. So again, we come to different forms of the present perfect simple. Different forms, and I mean by different forms, affirmative, negative, question, and answer. Affirmative, negative, question, and answer. How to form a statement, how to form a negative statement, or how to change it into a question and to produce an answer. Look. Mainly we have or has as helping verbs followed by the past participle form of the verb. So it's very easy. I will give you two examples only are enough here. So I say, for example, I have walked to school. or to my university. So if we change into negative, simply any sentence in English that has a helping verb and you want to change into negative, simply add not after the helping verb. Here we have either have or has. So I have becomes I have not. Has becomes he has not. We can have long forms and we can have short forms. If we wanted to change a verb, the helping verbs here into short forms, have, see, I have becomes I have. So we cancel HA and add apostrophe instead. I have not. Or take have as a complete form and shorten not. How can we shorten not? We cancel the O and add apostrophe instead. So I haven't. I haven't. I haven't worked. If we wanted to change it into a question, any sentence that has a helping verb, substitute, make an inversion between the helping verb and the subject precedes. So I have, we can say, have I? This is a question. Have I? This is a question. Have I walked to school, for example? And so on. Answer this question is to be answered. Any question in English that starts with a helping verb is to be answered by yes or no. So I can say, yes, I have, or no, I have not, or haven't. Yes, I have, no, I have not. He or she or it has walked. He has not, he hasn't. She has not, she hasn't. It has not, it hasn't. Has he walked? Has she walked? Has it walked? Yes, it has. No, it hasn't. I think this is enough here because the idea is very easy for you to understand. This is the end of our part today, part one today, with all my great hopes for you all of the best understanding. Uh, and remember, it's not a matter of perfection, it's a matter of progress, and continuous work is what makes a difference. So study well and go on for success. Thanks. Bye.